we've asked questions of the community, and one of the members of the community has sent in a question. I have MS and I'm scared about passing on MS to my children, and they would like to know what the risks are.
Although genetics has been implicated, particular one or two variants in genetics has been implicated as being found in young people and adults with MS, we know that there are a number of other factors which are probably a lot more important, like the environment and certain infections such as EBV, vitamin D, and it's actually what we call a multifactorial condition where there are a whole lot of things that come together to create MS in one individual.
Okay, so is there anything in terms of the risk? I've heard that sometimes there is a higher risk if you come from a certain genetic background from certain parts of the world. Is that the same with passing it on to your children, or does that vary?
So we know that genetics, as I was saying, can play a small role, and we know that certain populations seem to be more predisposed to developing MS, but we also know that the exposure to sunlight, how far you are from the equator, as well as toxins in the environment, parents who smoke and other toxins in the environment have probably a greater effect than the genetics alone.
Is there anything you would recommend to an adult who has MS and is worried about passing it on to their children or their children developing it? Is there anything you could actually recommend to them that they can do to help keep their children MS free?
Obviously, that's the, sadly we don't know what causes MS, and that is obviously, if we could get to the bottom of that, then we could try and think about what one could do to prevent it. What I would first like to do is reassure them that the actual risks of passing on to MS to their child is exceptionally small, as most people don't have a mom or dad with MS, and even those where both parents have MS, the chance of the child still getting MS is still low. What I know a number of parents do is give vitamin D, because we know that there's been a long association between low vitamin D and risks of relapse and multiple sclerosis. But at the moment the evidence isn't there to show that this actually prevents somebody developing MS. But most of the time our vitamin D levels are low in countries like Britain, which is cloudy, so taking a small dose of vitamin D is not going to be harmful. But like everything, it needs to be in moderation.
And you mentioned environmental factors, you also mentioned smoking.
Yeah.
Is that something that heightens the risk of passing it on or developing it at all?
Well, we know there are a number of environmental toxins, particularly parental smoking, which is thought to increase the risk of developing multiple sclerosis. But again, getting full evidence for this is extremely difficult. But conditions such as being exposed to Epstein-Barr virus, EBV, low vitamin D, parental smoking, all come together to create a situation where it makes an individual more vulnerable to developing MS.